And here we are again. We are live again, folks, from the wonderful Winchester.
I'm certainly alive, Craig.
I'm half alive today, I think. And there we are, the beautiful scene outside our window. That's that's our neighbours, that is, folks. Yeah, we keep a camera outside sometimes. We'll probably develop these extra cameras as time goes on. So nice to see you all again.
Shall we say hello, Craig?
Let's say hello to everybody. Our topics tonight are kind of quite open. So have a think about what questions you'd like to ask us. You can type them in at any point, even now. But we'll say our hellos first to everybody first.
To Sonia, hello there from Romania. Starry Transylvania, actually. Very nice to meet you.
Yes. Hello from Miami, Florida, says, my glasses, Road to Ashes. Road to Ashes. Okay,
God.
God.
Namaste,
Someone from Transylvania
if you
as
sing
well.
anything for the 4th and 5th April anywhere in the world, please do mention. We will, if we feel
there's
that.
all this fears that people are, okay, we can, yeah, got all that. Yeah, I know about this.
And Krista says, hi, I am from Vienna, Austria. I love Vienna. We've been
there,
haven't we,
Vienna
Craig?
are lovely museums there, as well as the music and the horses and everything.
Spanish
Fabulous
horses.
place. Anybody wants a great holiday, try Vienna. Yeah, good coffee too, and chocolate cakes.
Yes. Kitty Whiskers. Good evening, Craig, Jane and Dom from Catherine in chilly Manchester. It's quite chilly here too,
Nice and
isn't it?
sunny, but chilly. So, ginger tea, this is. No, we have Joanne Maddie. Good evening from Norway. Chilly too, I think.
Soul.
Good evening from Milton Keynes, says Lisa. Our lighting looks a bit odd tonight. What do you think of the lighting, folks? I think it's changed a bit.
I like it.
Hello from stormy Germany.
Patrice.
And we a little bit of problem on some of the cameras, I notice. A little bit pixelization there. Intuitive Healing says hello from Alberta, Canada. Hello there, guys. We got a new camera set up, so we're still kind of testing things a bit here, actually, folks.
Hello from Texas. Please give us some happy predictions today.
I've got some good ones, actually. Hello from Texas. Oh, we've done that one. Hello from Alabama, says Kim. Nice to see you, Kim.
Janet says hello from Northwest. Where's that?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, USA.
A lot of people coming in from America today. Their daylight times shift, don't they, today, I think? Different timing. Teresa saying, good evening, Craig and Jane and Dom from sunny, windy Warwickshire. Looking forward to your live. Thanks, Teresa. Nice to see you all again. Patricia saying, Lavrov is a bad man. Can't stand the sight of him. No, really?
I can't stand the sight of bad men neither, come to think of it.
Didn't we? So we're not quite sure what we're back again.
Good.
I think our sound is back again. Sorry about that, folks. We've got a few teething problems. There's we bought a lot of new kit, so there's an awful lot of things to make sure was all working in synchronization. So should be right. So we'll carry on with our hellos. Don't forget, folks, if you've got any questions, think about them now. We can talk about all things. We can talk about obviously the world situation and things, but all other things too. Anything that you're interested in to do with the supernatural world, perhaps, anything to do with spirituality, anything to do with the next life, anything to do with
spiritual talks,
predictions as well. We don't mind up to a point.
Yeah. Brit says, good evening from Norway. And then we got Deborah. Good day.
G'day.
From Melbourne, Australia. What is our future? It depends where you are in the world. Craig and Jane, thank you for doing what you do. You lift my spirit, you touch many lives. And as a healer, I'm grateful, blessings anyway, or divine blessings to you for doing the healing.
Yeah, thank you. And I think we get a lot of healers connecting with us, and that's a good thing.
And your friend here, Agility Bits,
yes,
Craig?
they're Pat there. Hello from windy Cornwall. It's always windy. You always say that, Pat, actually, don't you? 3:08 a.m. here in the Philippines. Oh, that's kind of you to join at that sort of time. Crikey.
Mary Gruff, hi from, what's that?
Ontario, Canada. Evening from Fife, Scotland.
You said
Remember
Blard,
Fife
didn't
Robinson?
Can we change our soul connection? And that's from AP.
Can we change our soul contract? So this looks like we've got our first question come up now. So soul contracts. These are another one of those. I think those are, to be honest, AP, I don't really hold any much with these sort of buzzwords like soul contract. I mean, I don't quite know what you mean by that, if I'm honest. It says my face dissolving into pixels. I don't know. What do you think she means by that?
Well, I think we're all born with our own personal blueprint, Craig, from a karmic life, past life. So
you think she
our
might mean that?
identity and our persona is what we're born with, and our consciousness and our spirit. So we can't change that inside. We can change reality, how we think. Would you agree?
Yeah. Okay.
And our
So
own intuition.
yeah. I mean, I suppose there's two.
Your mic, Craig.
Oh, nuisance. Hang on. Just do my mic again.
You're sitting on it. That's why.
Oh. Perhaps it's not getting a transmission there. Hopefully you can hear me.
He's
How about that? No.
Hold it down, then flick it back up hard.
Any good? Any good? Testing. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. We're sorry about this, folks. We've got a few problems with our sound tonight and one of the cameras too. And we had a big software update just as we're about to go live. Anyway, that idea, picking up on what you were saying there, Jane, I think there's two things with our contract in life, as it were, which I suppose our soul's contract. On the one hand, we have our destiny, which is determined by our karma, up to a point.
That's what I said, yeah.
And on top of that, we also have our free will. So we have this sort of dichotomy as, is it all just karma, just unfolding all the time, one piece of karma after another unfolding? Or do we have some sort of control over this, I suppose what you could call the blueprint or the contract, And we do, really, because it's, I always describe it like a map, that destiny is the map, and our journey over it is our free will. So that's where we have the level of control. And if you look in some of the thinkings about what karma is, they talk about different types of karma. And there's some karma that you can't do anything about because it's already been released. But there's other karma that you can work and change and reduce. So something negative is going to happen in your life. It's going to happen anyway, but you can make it less potent.
Can I just stop you there? If you have negative forces, then have non-attachment to those things and think clearly. That's what one has to do.
Well, I think any spiritual work that a person does, including non-attachment, like you say, which is true, isn't it? Any form of spiritual work that you do is ultimately breaking you from your karma, because it's helping you to find inner freedom. And I think perhaps the whole purpose of human life in many ways is to find kind of freedom from karma, freedom from bondage to the earth, and freedom from ultimately freedom, I suppose, from our own ignorance, our own egos.
Well, I think the book, what you've written, Be Happy, says it all, Craig.
Yeah, Be Happy. I worked on that concept a lot. That if you're trying to Happiness is freedom, really, and freedom is harmony
Right.
as well.
Michelle, trying to get a better connection to listen to my guides, what do you suggest? Now, when you're saying better connection to your spirit guides, is it an inner voice you're getting, or is it clairaudently that you're receiving, or is it you're getting it from a third eye? Have you got too much going on in your life? Because I always think if you have a connection to your spirit guides or doorkeepers or guardians, as you might call them, is to be quiet and still. What do you think, Craig?
Well, I think if you want to get a connection to anything in spirit, you've got to first, what I would call, go into the silence. I mean, we talk about meditation as being this and that and the other, but ultimately, I suppose one of the main things about what meditation is that it's silence. And if we can get our mind into a state of quietude, of silence, then if the spirit world, it's like throwing a pebble into a pond. If the pond is all full of waves and upset and distorted, you're not going to see any ripples. But if the pond, which is your mind, is completely still, you only need to throw one little pebble in it, and its ripples will be seen. And in a way, to connect with the spirit guides, I think you've got to put your own inner dialogue out the way. You've got to put out of your mind all those rapid thoughts that are going on, and you've just got to sit really quietly and then allow it to come, and know that it's, and you've got to disassociate yourself from your own thoughts, really, and in that way you get that inner silence, and then you'll get that fluidity.
Yes.
With
and
the
have you got
connects.
a big pond, Craig? We throw in the ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true what Craig says. Be silent and still and know thyself.
And also, I mean, inner silence is an incredibly powerful thing, because you might think of it as no thoughts, but actually, just like one spirit thought can be perceived, if you go into inner silence, all those troubles that are constantly raging around in your mind, for that period of inner silence, they've gone. And I think it helps you to see clarity on all levels, not just connect with the spirit world, but if you can find inner silence, you also connect with all the things that really mean, that are important to you in life, and help you to understand and see with clarity. I mean, when we come out of a deep sleep, we kind of know the way forward a bit more after a good night's sleep, when you sleep on it. And that's, I think meditation sometimes can be even deeper and deeper and deeper than sleep is, because you're conscious while it's happening, and you get into that inner silence, and then in that inner space, not only can you pick up the spirit world like that other lady was talking about, but you can seed thoughts, and you can seed your future. Little thoughts put in there can make a huge difference, not only to your personal attitude to things, but will make things happen in your life.
Now, Connie says, Jane, that colour is flattering on you.
Yeah, people often say they like the orange on you. They had a whole debate on the comments recently.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much, Connie. I love orange. It's such a vibrant colour, and I think it represents energy.
It's the Eastern spiritual colour, the colour of
Yes.
saffron, actually,
Yes.
and I think it is a lovely colour to hint at with when we do our work here.
There's Sheila.
COVID cases are on the rise worldwide. Will this be a quick peak or a long drawn out one?
Well, I think all these different things and viruses are always going to interact and change all the time around the planet. We've always had plagues and different things, and I think this goes back to common sense. Don't you? How you look after things and your health?
Well, I think with all these viruses, I mean, every new virus that's ever come into the world has probably caused terrible problems through our history over the millions of years we've been here. But ultimately, they kind of integrate with us. And just like the common cold, it integrates with us. And I think COVID is going to gradually get less and less potent, which it's doing anyway. And my thoughts are that ultimately, the COVID, it'll adjust to us. It doesn't want to kill the host. COVID wants to keep going. It wants to, it's a almost life thing, and it wants to keep driving for life. And my thoughts are that COVID will just eventually die down, fizzle out,
Well,
and get
it's a
weaker
bit-
and weaker as we get our immunity.
It's a bit like the common cold. There isn't really a cure for the common cold, is there?
No,
And that's
but but our bodies
your immune
know how to
system,
fight it, though.
Yeah,
That's
your
the
immune
difference.
system.
Yeah.
So your body is your temple, so you have to look after your body and eat healthily and rest. That's the key.
That's an interesting one from Kitty Whiskers. These names you choose. Do you think when we enter the golden age there will be more people entering spiritualist churches and other churches that we know today diminishing? Will there be a revival in things like spiritualism?
Well, I think people, personally, my thoughts are that people have got to choose their own spirituality. You don't necessarily have to go to a church to be spiritual. Being spiritual is being part of the nature, kindness, compassion, and quite on a high energy, because some of the people I've seen go to spiritualist churches are away with the fairies.
Yeah, I think traditional religions in many ways are in a way on the decline in many respects, because I think people are learning. You see, I think we're taught now, and I think it's important, we all think for ourselves. You know, we have to trust our own experiences,
That's right.
really, don't we? And people, you know, people have some funny things with spirituality too, because, you know, sometimes you think, do you really want to be spiritual, or is it just you wanting to be recognised as spiritual? You know, sometimes it's all about people liking you and things like that, much lower levels of
As long as it
spirituality.
doesn't bring the ego into it.
That's what I say, there's ego in it.
When you get the egos, I'm better than you, step back.
And I think when it comes to, for example, spiritualism, I mean, that's spiritualism, for those that don't know what it is. That's where mediums work in the spiritualist church, as it were. It's a church, but it's really not a church with a religious doctrine in the same way that a lot of places are.
Religion, though.
It is recognised as a religion. But spiritualism, I mean, we worked for years and years in spiritualism, demonstrating on the spiritualist platform and travelling all over the country in all times of day and night, and just for not even for all the full expenses. And right from the start, when I got first interested in it, right back, started demonstrating in the early 80s in spiritualist churches and giving my demonstrations of mediumship and so forth. Right then I thought it was old-fashioned, and it's still not changed to this day. So unfortunately, things like spiritualism are naturally going to fade away if we're not careful. So it would be a terrible, terrible shame. But the mindset is we don't want to step up to the modern world.
People want to go to a spiritual centre where they can meditate, and it's a nice feeling, nice environment. Not going into a place where they've got kitten photographs on the wall and all sort of lighting and all sort of
and that awful picture
song.
of Jesus looking up into the light that they put up.
Well,
I mean, it needs to be. See, the problem with spiritualism is it completely lost all of its intellectuals. I mean, when it started off, it had great minds, some of the greatest minds in science, literature, in politics. We're all involved in spiritualism. We're all really interested in what is, and we're talking about it all over the world. It was a world movement, and tremendously inspired. But now all the intelligent people, most, not all, but a large number of those intellectuals have left the movement, or aren't in the movement, because these were a long time ago. And it's become, in my opinion, too twee, and the philosophy's become it's become a shallow sort of type of philosophy. And although it's correct, and spiritualism, my God, I hope it stays, because it is such a tremendous place where mediums can develop, and we really, really do need it. The sad thing is, it's dying of complacency, and it's also dying of so many committees and things there that seem to all bicker like they're in some committee on some council meeting. So it's dying of democracy as well. And sadly, I feel, how long would it survive? I really hope it will, because there's a huge interest in these things, and spiritualism's just not come up to the mark for people to be the place to go. And the other day I was looking at TikTok for the first time. You know, I was thinking of opening a TikTok account, and I was looking at the psychics and mediums on TikTok, and my heart absolutely sank, Because none of those so-called mediums have ever even entered a spiritualist church, and yet they're talking with total, in my opinion, codswallop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Animal Watch, thank you for the wonderful work you do. Do you see Russia trying to take the Canadian, North or even Alaska in the future? I'm pleased to say not.
I don't think Russia's as powerful as people think.
I don't feel so. I feel the world is all coming together, and this is why I feel it's better things to look forward to, because nobody wants wars, do they? Nobody wants wars.
The Ukrainian war already has started to come to a...
There's strong people.
It's coming to a halt. Russia have decided they've gone in there and they can't run it, push it forward as they expected, and they're bogged down more than they're bogged down in Afghanistan, and it's going to cost them a fortune, and it's going to cost a lot of lives to keep the Ukraine under any wraps whatsoever if they want to keep this as a long-term thing, and they will ultimately have to move out. I think Ukraine will win this war. And they will push the Russians out ultimately, because the Russians will have to come out. They just won't be able to afford it, and things are going to happen to Putin, as we've talked about before in some of the predictions. So, you know, and also I've actually accessed one of the Nadi oracles about their predictions for Ukraine, and I'll be showing that to some of the patrons on Zoom very soon. So those of you that are watching that are patrons, watch out for my upcoming Zoom on Monday, because I'm going to be talking about what the Nadi oracles have said about Ukraine.
So AR has sent 20, is that dollars or 20
yeah,
pounds?
thanks for sending a donation like that.
Will Ukraine hold out? What happens to Putin? Well, as Craig said, he's going to do that in his patrons. And I think Ukraine people will hold out. They're very strong and they've got strength.
Too right, they'll hold out.
I
think they'll hold out right the way through. And even I don't think Putin will be able to sweep right across the country.
I don't think China will come in to help him neither.
Well, that's always been my fear.
I don't feel they will. I feel, you know, China are thinking of their economy as well.
Putin will be removed from power. His own people are beginning to cotton on to what's going on there. I mean, I was talking to Domenico on the way over here.
Do you realise there's 4 generals that have been
they've got
killed,
4 generals.
And there's another 3 to go,
and all those
Craig.
people in that big rally, you know, that they were doing there.
That's what Domenico told us.
Yeah, I was talking to Domenico. They were all school kids being shipped in, telling you a day off school. There were people being forced in there. The Russian people have been talking about those rallies, and it wasn't quite as enthusiastic as it was made to look, you know. So I think Russia's going to turn on Putin.
Yeah.
Poison him.
Rose said, I pray for the suffering going on and seeing us reaching a place of love. Please pray for both the Ukraine and Russian people. Well, the Russian people aren't bad, are they? And
yeah,
the
capital and I do agree with that.
It's so hard for them too. We pray for them.
I mean,
too.
I've got Russian friends because I did some of that stuff on Russian TV, and there's some nice people, even though RT has been taken off.
Is it Ivor?
Yeah, Igor. He came and filmed some stuff with me here, not for the RT program, but the Russian people are lovely people.
Yes.
I mean, I've known Russian people. They've got a good sense of humour when you get to know them. And so this war, which is definitely a war, is not against the Russian people. It's against a totalitarian type of autocratic, I suppose the right word, government, you know, and that's what the world should be turning against. We had all this in the Second World War, didn't we? And here we are again with autocratic governments in Russia, in North Korea, in China, big money in China, power there, and so many tin pot states in South America and Australia and Africa too. I mean, you know, we all got together and I think gave the United Nations teeth and actually went in proactively to take down non-democratic
I will
governments.
think about it, Craig.
Or certainly through,
I will think about it.
Certainly do it through sanctions gradually. And Iran's going to be a problem very soon too.
Yeah.
You mark my
Neil
words.
says, thank you, Craig and Jane. I've joined your Patreon. Thank you, Neil.
That's very kind of you. And if you want to become a patron, anybody, it's just in the
Oh.
description of this video.
Tina De Cave, hello from Italy. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Ciao.
Buonasera, isn't it?
Is it?
Because it's not evening, yeah. Dominica will correct us. Hi, Craig and Joan. I wish the Indian government would not buy Russian oil. The abstention was unavoidable because Russia helped us in 1971 war. But it's upsetting to see a lot of people support Russia. There is a lot of support in India for Russia.
Yes.
And India, of course, bought a lot of its armaments from Russia too. And India also thinks to Russia, well, Russia, you protect us from China. Because the biggest threat to India is China, of course, because economically
I think it's Taiwan we've got to be careful
yeah,
of.
well, this
China.
is the other thing that's going to be coming up. But they, of course, they're dependent on so much of the Russian oil there too.
Yes.
So it is sad. I think India, though, you see, India's still quite weak as a government at the moment and as an economy. But it's getting better day by day in India, and as I've said before, I think India's going to become the new Bharat. You know, it's going to become a very powerful country as the years go on, and as China fades. Because I've often predicted on some of my videos a long time ago that I feel that China will eventually cave in. There'll be a revolution in China, and we will see something much better there. But for now. India's, we will turn to India ultimately, I think, to lead the world one day. That's my thought.
Well, there's very wealthy people in India.
Oh, there's tremendous wealth. There's
Not
tremendous
just poverty.
growing wealth in India there too, as well. I mean, when I was there, they were building motorways so fast. You look at it and think, guys, how do we ever keep up with this? It's a huge country too, with enormous resources.
Yeah, I like the Indian people.
Yeah,
especially ones
it was
non-violent.
It must have been the richest country on the planet before the British Raj went in there and stripped it of its gold.
Now, Sonia, I keep worrying about a major earthquake in Budapest. There's periodic hype about that. Spiritualism is terribly prepared, and it would be tragic. I think. One mustn't worry about these things. It's like earthquakes. There's recently been an earthquake in Japan, I believe, and I think it's like Mother Nature fighting back at the moment.
Yeah, we both predicted that one recently. I think you did on your channel too.
Yes.
But Bucharest, to be honest, I haven't picked up on anything, Sonia, in Bucharest. You see, Jane and I, like we say, we get glimpses of things. We don't know it all. We
It's
don't
flashes.
know everything that's going to happen. If we did, it would be so easy, wouldn't
We
it?
couldn't stop events though.
But I think we get glimpses. We get glimpses and we get insights. And sometimes when we share those insights, when we feel really strong about something, they can be helpful to people. And sometimes we just discuss things like we kind of been doing here today. We get a feeling about things.
Bless me.
But it's best to watch our actual prediction. When we make an actual prediction video and we say this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, those videos, which we don't make all the time because we have to do it when we get it, as it were. But they're the ones to watch for those the world predictions. Belated happy Holly, Jane and Craig, from a place called London, if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, where they throw colours.
Yeah, that was yesterday, I think,
colours
Holly. I think if we had Holly all round the world, it would cheer everybody up.
Yeah,
And you know the one in
exciting.
India where they throw all the
all the
multicoloured
colours.
dyes at each other? I think it's a great idea,
Well,
really.
didn't they do something like that in Spain? Threw tomatoes at each other. Would you like tomatoes?
Well, it's their spring festival, actually, for India. It's the first day of spring, I think. And the same here, we could do the same thing. Craig, when you predicted India expanding its borders to the future back into Pakistan and Afghanistan, with those two countries improving their human rights for gays, yeah, there's some pretty dreadful stuff there. I do think India would take.
I don't think Afghans.
I think India will go
Afghanistan,
into Afghanistan one day. I don't think it's for a long time yet. But I felt that India would expand even into what was what's it called now? What used to be Burma, that direction. I think it's going to expand back also partly into Pakistan. I think there will be a big conflict between India and Pakistan one day, actually. There's not right now, but there will be one time. And I think India's going to expand its borders. Bharat used to be massive, used to include all of Afghanistan, all of Pakistan into right into Iran, and it went the other way, all the way down to Indonesia. And there's still the remnants of it all there in all those countries.
He's
actually
asking, will it improve human rights for gays?
Well, India is generally pretty tolerant. Actually, it does have some difficulties with things like that.
Afghanistan's
Still,
not.
sorry.
Afghanistan's not.
No, Afghanistan isn't, and
No,
I think we
they're
need
cruel.
to see.
They throw them over the edge and
I mean, there's some
stone them.
terrible stuff still going on for
Dreadful.
the abuse of gay people in many of the Muslim countries still, you know. And this is where the democracies of the world, again, have to get together to force out all these, because that's, to me, another totalitarian type of system. It's a religious totalitarianism there, under the guise of religion, but it's actually a kind of a form of political control again. You know, when you get politics and religion mixed together, the only time it seemed to work was in Tibet, but apart from that, too much religion in politics, and even in India too, is dangerous. The politics and state have got to be separate.
Sweden, can you say something about Sweden if there will be an attack on our country? Many thanks from Stockholm. You're quite safe for the time being now, Sweden.
I haven't seen anything like that recently. Again, we only get what we get.
Well, I just felt may it be a turning point for Ukraine. A good one.
I'd like to know if the two of you are familiar with Geopolitical. Unfortunately, I'm not. It would have been better, Kim, if you said what that was. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not. So sorry. Sorry for my ignorance. I don't know. Geopolitical. Sounds like something to do with Germany. Yeah, but I don't know. No. So I don't. Unfortunately, Kim, I can't answer that one.
You've never heard of it?
No, frankly. Dominica's done a little bit of research. German times is a practice of assigning a numerical value to a name, word or phrase according to the alphanumerical cipher.
Gosh.
Okay, this is a bit like numerology we're talking about here again, isn't it? So a name has a number vibration. So if you take if you break the letters down and give them each a number, there's two systems for it. There's the Greek system and there's another one. Whichever system you used, you will actually get your name down to a vibration number. So back to my name works, Craig Hamilton Parker, works at a number 8, which should make me quite successful money-wise. It doesn't seem to work. But your name vibration is associated with this numerology, and of course you can apply it to lots of things. You can take things like the capital, you can take all the consonants, or you can take all the vowels to get different aspects of a thing, and you can even take a phrase to know if what its numerological value is, if it's going to be a positive phrase. So everything can be broken down into numbers. And Newton was really interested in the idea of numerology, strangely enough, towards the end of his life. What have you both got planned for the year? That's an unusual question.
To breathe, I think. To be alive.
Well, we're gonna transmit from Italy sometime, we hope. We're planning to do that. I haven't got any plans to go to India at the moment, much as I'd quite like to. That's going to, I think, be quite an important one for us.
We've got a theatre to do in May.
Yeah, that's important
for the foundation, which all those funds go back into the foundation.
Yeah, so we don't take any money for that. Our public work we put into.
They've booked us for twice a year because it's been so popular that people have been queuing down the road.
It would be quite nice to do a few more theatre events, actually. It's just our time gets
we're so busy all the time.
And when we're doing it for charity too, you obviously have to think carefully, because you've also got to make a living while you're doing these things. But we thought, with the theatre work, we want to put into the foundation. And we're hoping to get, we're going to work hard to see if we can get some proper funding I'm putting an application in for the lottery grants. So we're planning lots of things, which hope to I think we'll get close to the centre very soon, I get the feeling, actually. And that's been one of our main interests. And Jane and I love to travel, so we'll probably do some more travel, I expect, this year.
When we've got time.
COVID snookered everybody, though, didn't it, really?
Right,
the world's sort of opening up again, thank God.
A remote viewer saw panic in New York. They need to seek shelter in the subways and bunkers. Do you see this? I don't just see that. There's many remote viewers. I believe even the Russians have got remote
depends
viewers.
who
and even the army has those, but you try to use it for the power of good.
Yeah, and a remote viewer. I mean, you can go down the pub and someone can say, "I'm a remote viewer" or something, and you don't know. It depends on the person's credentials. But I to be honest, I haven't seen anything like that.
No,
and that
have I.
sounds to me like just
No, I haven't.
Clickbait. But no, if we saw something like that, we'd tell you. And if we do see negative things, we express them as well as the positive.
Oh, you've got another donation. Are mermaids real? Do you know, funny enough, one of my daughters, I told her a story about a mermaid, what my grandmother told me, and she really was blown away.
Mermaid mad, wasn't she?
And there is in the British Museum, there's meant to be a mermaid, but actually it looks like a fish towel and a skeleton of a creature stuffed into, you know, the famous one I'm on about?
There was one that was...
I don't think that was real.
A chimera.
I think that's mythology, don't you? Yes.
Made of... It was some bits put together, actually, from...
Yeah.
No, I don't... Not in the sense that...
why?
There could be intelligent
Vera
life under
says,
the sea we're
why
not
don't
aware
you
of,
have
though.
your fireplace going? Because we're rather hot in here with all the lighting on, and it's quite warm.
Yeah, I don't think it would be practical to put the fireplace on fully either, actually, because it's...
And I'd be frightened those birds nest up there,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want
we're also in a
animals to be
smokeless zone,
destroyed.
actually. So when a period of peace and prosperity?
Well, we're hoping the year 2023 there'll be a different energy, and though we're getting all prices rising now and all different things like that, the year 2023 I predict to be much better for all of us.
Yeah, I think we'll start to come out of it towards the end of 2023. It's funny when people get you doing readings and start asking you for things about, can you predict my future for cryptocurrencies and things, and you start trying to do these ones for individuals. It seems that 2023, 2024, I keep getting the feeling that is a good time for most people.
Because remember, we're going back to numbers again, because 23.
23 is quite a good 7 year. Yeah. So
I mean, I don't like numbers 4s because that indicates death.
Only to the Chinese, because
Well,
it sounds
does
like the word
indicate
death
like
in
that,
Chinese.
And 8s are lucky for Chinese.
I think we'll start seeing a bit. I think we've still got a
23.
rocky road ahead though at the moment, because I think we're going to have pretty heavy inflation coming up worldwide. So I think we're going to go through a pretty tough patch, and I think we'll start coming out of things in a serious way by 2024. I get a feeling that there's going to be a bit more of an improvement in the world. We will get over this Russia business. It's only a temporary thing. Ultimately, it will go. I mean, remember, a lot of the news, although it's dreadful news, it's also in many ways, news has turned into a form of entertainment. News has turned into a form of endless speculation. News has turned into something. You don't sit down, get the headlines, and that's it. You get this endless bombardment of speculation. And actually, it gets to people. It makes them, although it's a terrible thing that's happening out there, it means people are carrying it with them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we will get better years ahead.
Lita says there is talk of going to school when you first go to heaven. Do you think this is true? And do you think we choose our role in heaven? Well, you could call it a spirit school, because when you actually go over to the afterlife, if you pass and you're older, you suddenly go younger. It depends on your karma. Do you think this is true, and do you think we choose our role in heaven? I think it's already chosen for you for what you do on the earth plane, don't you, Craig?
I think when you go to the spirit world, one of the first things you're going to do is reflect about your life and what it's been, and why, and the good and bad you've done in that life. I don't see the spirit world as the sort of end of things, though. I mean, in spiritualism they talk of the eternal progress of every soul, and progress means work, progress means development, progress means change. Progress usually happens with a bit of suffering too. So My thought is that I believe in reincarnation, that we keep coming back to the earth or some other plane of existence, not necessarily multiple dimensional existences. But the whole thing is about ultimately us waking up and becoming fully conscious beings. So the school, as it were, in the spirit world is this is a school here on earth, and it is a school in the spirit world. Everything is a process of learning. So to say you just go to a special school and you're taught things, that's probably a bit fantasy got filled it in there. But certainly I believe the learning process continues indefinitely, and there is no rest, because we constantly keep developing until we get the ultimate state of rest, which is that deep inner peace that comes through complete awakening.
Is that Marilyn? But can you talk about miracles? Recently a miracle happened in Ukraine. Ukrainian soldiers were outnumbered. A church prayed 24 hours for them. A lightning bulb hit and fired Russian tanks and equipment. I wouldn't call that a miracle by killing something, would you?
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. I've not heard of that, so no. I don't know whether that's a true story or whether there's an awful lot of Facebooky sort of stuff that goes out there. Sorry, Marilyn, I'm not dating you. I don't the stories sometimes that people put around, I'm not sure of. But I think miracles, what are miracles? I think the greatest miracle that can ever happen is a change of the human heart.
Life.
The greatest miracle that can happen is when we actually awaken to the true knowledge of our nature. External miracles, I suppose they do happen, and we've seen those happen when we saw Sai Baba.
Every human, Craig, is a miracle because we have a life force and we're a living being, so we're a miracle. A baby born is a miracle. Miracles happening all the time, and I believe in the power of prayer, and if you've got good intentions and you're really true in your heart and you're really asking for the power of good and sending out love, these things do work.
I think that you're right. I mean, the whole of existence is an absolute miracle, isn't it? To think that there's all those millions of stars and planets out there, most of them dead, in an endless universe that goes on with huge sort of galaxies that go on, and other galaxies and galaxies beyond that. I mean, the sheer scale of it, the sheer size of it. And then here we are, sat in two chairs, chatting to people who are sat at home in their chairs, in this strange game that we call life. It's almost laughable when you think of it in comparison to all these, crushing, exploding stars around the universe and things, and you think, and this is what comes from it all. I mean, and it's so, it's just a miracle that any of it can exist, that I'm conscious. That's a miracle. That's a miracle.
And I call it a miracle if you washed up, Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, now that would be a miracle. That would definitely be a miracle. Is whole life, aka permanent life insurance, as controversial in UK as it is in the USA? Many view it as a false sense of security. Well, actually, I don't know what's going on there, Nick, in America. I used to do a lot of graphics for when I had my advertising agency. Some of my biggest clients were life assurance agencies. And I always used to say to them, actually, you guys are not a life assurance, you're death assurance, because it's not about insuring life, it's about insuring people's death, and so the whole marketing thing that goes around this whole idea of life assurance is all based, isn't it? It's based on fear. It's based on fear, and it's almost a death avoidance type thing. But I don't know what all that permanent life assurance stuff, or assurance stuff it is in the USA. I'm not as sure. So we haven't got kind of anything like that much in the news as far as I'm aware. But insurances, it's like, when you think about it, if you really are comfortable with your life, I can understand people needing to insure things to secure their family in case of their early demise. You wouldn't like all your kids suffering, but there's a huge industry with it. And when you look at the profits that these guys make, they make more profits than they do in Vegas with the size of their buildings and the and the corruption that goes with some of the funds and things like that. So it's not really what it should be. Really, it would be better if it was taken out of the hands of commercial businesses and put into one democratically owned business that secures people if anything happens to them, they die too early. Wouldn't it be better if there was one fund rather than all these competing insurance companies? A government fund, perhaps. You know. There's me, the socialist, talking now.
Oh dear. Barbara says, Jane, is Meghan Myrtle a reincarnation of Anne Boleyn? I don't think so. You don't know how many Henry VIII's we've met. And I don't think so. I think she's her own person, personally. And that, because we've actually been to Anne Boleyn's
Eva
castle.
Brown, maybe she's the incarnation of.
No, you mustn't say that about any human. But we actually went where she lived, didn't we, Anne Boleyn?
We were. In fact, we're going over that direction tomorrow, aren't we?
Winston
Winston Churchill's house tomorrow. She's just down the road from Haven Castle, Haven House, I think it is, actually, isn't it?
Castle, Craig, Castle.
Oh, I can't. It was either a house or car. I can't remember.
Castle.
But it was a good energy there, wasn't it? And Anne Boleyn, I felt her energy was definitely around that place, even though that's where she was as a younger girl. Arkansas is pronounced Arkansas. Oh, is it?
And I can saw you.
Good. There we know. These Americans, they pinched all our names, didn't they? They pinched all the names. They've even got a Southampton over there, and they've got a Birmingham over there. They got a York over there, and then they tell us off for pronouncing it wrong.
Oh well, there you go.
These colonialists, colonials.
Right, do you want to read this?
They're gonna lose 1 million subscribers now. Love the interaction and chemistry between you both. Hello from Boston, USA. Best tool for navigating all this is holding one's own inner counsel.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's like when we went to India and stayed in Swami's ashram, Sai Baba, I felt we all went there and had a personal interview of ourselves. Remember?
And I think we also have to, I think, they say to one's own self be true, don't they? And I think what we've got to do in life is ask ourselves sometimes, am I doing these things in life because I want to impress people? Am I doing these things because I want people to think good of me? Am I doing these things because I think I can get something out of it? Am I doing these things because I fear something like a death or something? Or am I doing these things because I really just want to do these things because I really want to make the world around me a better place? And I think if we really get to our heart, if we really get to our true inner self, we become a much happier person because we do things from that point that's not trying to impress, and that's why we really need to find ourselves, our own inner counsel. We need to, and that conscience that all of us have, that perhaps
we've got another
is there for everybody has. Follow your conscience, and you're usually right. Can you give a small prediction on New York State, please?
Well, what kind of prediction?
Not just like that. I can't.
You can't,
I'm afraid,
really.
Natalie. I'm sorry,
no.
Because it's not really something I can just pull things out of the air like that. But I'll keep our focus on it, actually. And if anything does come to us, we'll put it in a future prediction sometimes, because you've seeded it to us now. So something might come through our unconscious later, and we might need to say something about it if something comes. I don't think you need to worry, though. I feel things are all right there.
Jane, your voice is beautiful. It's as if you speak directly from your heart. I do. Where do you speak from, Craig?
Another orifice altogether.
No, I hope not. Don't say that. No, I think it's good to always speak from the heart and really give all your affirmations and love and help people. But it doesn't mean because you're spiritual, you're a walkover, does it, Craig? No,
I think the more spiritual you become, the stronger you've got to become, actually, and the more self-aware you've got to become, and the more on the lookout, actually, for people that want to kick you down all the time. I think when you're spiritual people, they do have a go at you.
Heather, you're asking, I may have missed it. But do you know Putin's fake from Australia? I think we've already done that on our predictions. If you like to look on Craig's channel, and also you
Yeah,
can
well,
look on my channel, go over there and you'll pick up everything what we've said.
Yeah, we've said a few things about Putin. We think Putin's going to be taken out ultimately, and I even thought possibly even by his generals or by poison or something. He'll be on his way out. He will ultimately. No.
Well, actually, we've been so busy. Even the gurus have got to wait for us.
Yeah. No, we want to go and see Sharavana Baba again. We've not had the time to see him because he had so many other things. And then the ashram there in London burnt down. So they've had a lot of problems there, but we will hopefully get a chance to see him again because I want to present the book to him.
Yes.
And maybe he might even say something to us without him even asking, because that's the amazing thing about him. You go to him and you don't have any questions, he just tells you. So if you've seeded something like that, Sheila, it wouldn't surprise me to say something to us.
Yes.
And if he does, I'll tell you, because I speak to you on Zoom sometimes because I know you're one of the top patrons. Craig, you keep rubbing the palms of your hands. Does this mean you are coming into dollars?
Barbara,
Give
it to me, Craig. Give it to me.
I've got an itchy palm. By the twitching of my thumb,
That
something
means money,
wicked this way
money
comes.
coming to you. Give it to me, Craig.
I hope so, Barbara. Maybe. Who knows? Do you see any upcoming military action in Germany, like armed forces, tanks, bombing?
I don't see any of that personally. Do you? I do feel there's going to be an elite army going in to help Ukraine.
But I don't think it would be. See, I thought Germany and France, well, they should, I would have thought, as Europeans protecting Europe, should have acted with Ukraine more because it's right on their border, frankly. But I don't think they're going to somehow.
Well, they don't.
I think if we get anything in there, it'll be united. The Ukrainians will have to do it for themselves, and I think they will.
They don't want to start World War III. That's why
they're
everyone's
terrified
being
of going.
cautious.
But you know, it's weak, really, don't you think? I think it's weak. I mean, I think Biden's done absolutely zero, really. They said, "Oh, we'll give a load of money and we'll give a load of arms," and Britain's done the same. We'll give a load of money, give a load of arms, and let these poor guys fight it out, outnumbered, with their cities being bombed flat. I mean, I think we should have been a bit more dynamic, because if you see weakness, I mean, it's just like at school. If anybody's weak, they get beaten up by everybody else, you know. And it's the same thing. Putin spotted weakness. He knew, I mean, this isn't psychic now, this is me talking what I think, but he saw a weak America. He saw a divided Europe, which he's always wanted a divided Europe all the time anyway. And he knows that nobody's going to act, so he went in. And it's exactly the same. They'd all get away. Taiwan would be the same problem if we show weakness. And the thing is, you've got to show strength up against these guys. I mean, they wouldn't. I bet Putin wouldn't have done this if Trump was still in power, because he doesn't know. Trump was a wild cannon. He didn't know whether Trump would press the button or not, so he wouldn't have gone in. Wouldn't have dared. But Putin, he was, you know, most of his time spent changing his diapers.
But don't forget, Trump did run down Ukraine as well. Now he's changed his mind.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we've got the last questions for tonight, you know. Okay, gone quick, hasn't it? And don't forget, if you've just watched this channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and press that little bell, because then you'll get updates and you'll see not just these, you'll see lots and lots of videos about all sorts of things. And if you become a patron, and that's in the description below, you can help us to move things forward. It's only a small amount you need to pay. Don't have to pay anything if you don't want to. But if you support us, it helps us get all this studio together we got going here. And we're working towards the centre all the time. And we've done quite a lot of charitable work, as you've probably seen from a lot of the recent videos. And what do you get out of it? Well, if you can also interact with us and get exclusive videos. Sometimes you get a chance to talk to me on Zoom. Like this Monday, you'll be able to sort of talk to me about the Numerology revelations, which we may or may not put up on the YouTube channel later. So there's lots of other stuff in the background, but you can become part of it and help us to turn this into something where we all feel that we're doing something for the world. You know, the spirituality we talk about, it does help with a little bit of funding as well as just talk. So thanks for those who are patrons. Jane's got her own Instagram, but she's also got her own channel too now,
Yeah,
Jane.
and I've got
haven't you?
predictions on there, and I've got meditations, many things on there, and I shall put up a new one next week as well.
Yeah, so you got the best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
You follow this channel and follow Jane's channel, and we've also got another channel hidden away that's just for the patrons, which we post stuff on from time to time. And if you'd like to be a guest, now we're going to be doing a lot more. I mean, I know some of the patrons have been sending me in items because we're going to do some psychometry live on this channel around our seance room. But we're looking also for guests who have interesting things to talk about. So we want to start in the year ahead. For example, someone asked what we're going to be doing, and we really like with this channel to start getting more and more discussions with people and guests on the show, and guests that can also even tie up with me, and I can do some Zoom ones with you if you're not able to get to Winchester here in Hampshire, UK. But you know, Jane's going to be doing some readings for people. I'm going to be doing some teaching things in what we call the seance room, and between us, hopefully we're going to get some really interesting content. So you know, keep following us. Over to you, Jane.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. HP. I really do believe, this Kitty Whiskers, that Putin's lost the plot. Can you see more dictators trying? We're always going to have dictators in the world, but I think this is a dictator that will finish. And I don't feel the man's very well. I feel he has an illness, because if you look at his face, he looks like he's on steroids. And I notice his eyes have become very, very small. So he's quite paranoid about the West, I would say. And I just feel it's revenge on so many things. But, you know, people go so far in their life, and then karma catches up with them.
It seems sad that these people that
Yeah.
are kind of paranoid, narcissistic sort of people can ever get into power. And we've had it all through history, right back to the Roman Empire was like that. But if we had democracy, and we really did treasure our democracy, and we made our democracy much more democratic, we could stop all these people getting into power, and I think in the future because the thing we have now we never had, say, at the time of the Roman Empire, is we have the power of communication. And the problem is the whole communication thing has been hijacked by big business, by politicians. I'm talking about, we got a bit of freedom here on YouTube, but all this is owned by Google, and all the big TV channels, there's big money behind it, and they're pumping out absolute rubbish sometimes. It's the lowest common denominator in culture. Some of the rubbish you see on TV and on the internet, of course, it's shockingly banal. Banal is the word I think I'm trying to find, and we need to change things, I think.
Elaine says, will the Queen make it to Philip's memorial? I think, isn't Charles going to go there instead, because the Queen hadn't been
I think
very
she's
well.
out of action, and
She hadn't been very well, because I believe she had coronavirus.
I don't think she probably won't. I think,
Yeah.
and
Because they're
we
preparing
predicted.
Charles to be king, so they're doing all this, aren't they, behind
Yeah,
the scenes?
I think that Queen's a lot more ill than people think.
Yes.
Actually, she's a lot more ill than has been revealed, and I think she'll make it past her Jubilee, but I can't see her going very much further than that, frankly, which is a great sadness.
Absolutely amazing lady, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's
it'll be a sad
dedicated
loss to
her
the whole
life,
world, I think.
And what's she, 97 now?
Yeah,
Must be that.
yeah. She can't be with us that much longer now, really, can she? But let's hope she does survive, because she's become a link to sort of values that we've kind of all lost in many ways.
Yeah, good values.
I'd have probably poo-pooed it in my hippie days, but when I look back at it now, it has given a consistency of
She
values.
probably a poo-hooed you, Craig.
I think they're probably generally the right values, not all of them. I mean, privilege is not a particularly good value. Anyway, we're starting to say goodbye to people, and thank you, Jamie Baby Cardo. Great show. Good night to you all. Good night, good luck, and cheerio to you all. Anybody remember where that comes from?
Thank you.
This is your Quiz and Quizzitor from Michael Miles. Leo Mood, I picked some energy around you. Send me friend requests for your reading. You're blessed. What's all that about then?
She wants a free reading. But what we're talking about is somebody that's actually coming here in the studio, and then I will give them a free reading.
Yeah, we're going to select a few people. Oh, it's a scammer again. Okay, pick some energy. Oh, is this a scammer?
Oh, right.
Oh, we always
Right.
get those. These
Well,
are the ones
Leo,
we've got to watch out for. People, real psychics.
I've got one thing to say
I've
to
been rubbing
Leo,
my hands, but,
Craig. One
yeah.
thing to say: hex off. Hex off.
So don't forget, guys, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can always have a look on the website at psychics.co.uk. There's a contact form there. Drop me a line and we'll see if we can help you. Come on, remember, we're looking particularly for people for something interesting to share with us. Near-death experiences, perhaps, things like that would be interesting. Have you seen a UFO? That's the sort of thing we like to talk to you about. Have you had a life-transforming experience?
Have you seen spirits?
Have you had, seen, is your house haunted? Anything
you
anything in the
travelled?
all the that's a good one too.
Yeah.
All those type of topics.
Blessings to you on Siram.
Thank you for joining us too, Patricia.
Just send our love and healing. It is a power, it certainly is.
Yeah, collective healing is very powerful.
Love and light and blessings to you all. Thank you, John. Jane F. Craig, how to find my palm leaf?
Difficult question. Not something I could really answer just like that. But I have introduced I have occasionally introduced one of the palm readers on the Zoom chats on my patron pages. So that's the best way. Well,
to be a patron.
Well, the patrons, I have helped some of the patrons, but I can't keep doing individual palm readings for people because I don't like to just introduce a palm reader, because very often who appear to be good suddenly money, and they go corrupt.
Yes.
And it can easily happen. It's a bit like the ring in Lord of the Rings, I say to people. It's a powerful ring, but it can corrupt.
Right, read that one.
Love you both. Hello from Sonoran Desert, USA. See, they're deliberately giving these words I can't pronounce. That's what it is. Janet saying, thank you both for your positivity and great energy.
Thank you,
guys.
Janet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bless
We
you.
appear to have great energy. After this, we'll
Deborah,
flake.
thank you. Thank you both. Vera, thank you. Have a lovely evening.
And I must stop rubbing my hands. I'm going to stop rubbing my hands.
Yes.
And the next one says...
thank you and blessings. Joan Maddie.
Yeah.
Jenny, thank you once again. Another lovely
Thank you,
chat.
guys.
Thank you, Jenny.
Don't forget, we're on every.
Oh, Creamy J,
Saturday.
is your scarf made out of your wife's jumper?
No,
actually,
high,
that's
better
a pure
quality.
silk. That's a pure
Yeah.
silk scarf, and this is a cashmere one. Right. I'll send you a video, Jane, on Instagram with this beautiful feather orb. Oh, thank you, Joanne. I look forward to that.
Great show. Thank you so much for all you do. Love and light.
Thank you, Pamela.
This
Kim.
was a wonderful thank you. I'm glad you all enjoy it so much, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We're always on every Saturday at the moment. Same time, same channel. At 7 o'clock UK time.
I don't know how I could explain that. Your orange scarf reminds me of my blue socks.
Well, everybody to their own. Yes, I'm sure.
Good night from South Africa. Good night, Jacques. Mark, thank you both. Thank you, Mark. Beatrice, is it too much to ask? Peace to the world, accordingly yours.
From France, I think.
No, it's not.
Hopefully we will get peace one day. I think if enough people think spiritually, ultimately we will.
Yeah.
Spiritually, I don't mean religious. Spiritually, I mean, like that person said, being in touch with your inner self, as it were.
Yeah.
This was nice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Nico Adcardo. I watched your stuff on TikTok the other day. Hilarious. You've got to watch. You can follow Nico Avocado.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
I really like this person.
You're all awesome. Awesome. And I bet that's from America. Everything's awesome in America.
Night from Hong Kong.
Oh, that's nice from Hong Kong. Yeah. Yeah, good.
Hee-haw.
Miha to Hong Kong. Yeah, that's right. Mystic Rebel, my hair is like Jane's but black, but I might go blonde now thanks to Jane. LOL.
Yeah, you won't
You're not going to
regret
mimic
it.
my haircut then. Good night to you both.
Good night, Ava.
Says Ava. Thank you for joining us.
Ireland. Good night from Ireland.
It's nice when everybody's from all over the world.
It's because I wear my blue socks round my neck like a scarf. Long as it's just round your neck, not your ears.
Yeah, as long as they don't stink as well.
Long as it's not round your ears.
Yeah, always goes quickly because it's so enjoyable and engaging. I love to know your dates for theatre in May to try and arrange to see you. Enjoy your weekend. Well, just go and have a look on the website at psychics.co.uk. We got links on there to the Concord Club where we're going to be on. I don't know how many tickets are left either, actually. So you better go soon. Blessings always. Today I'm in gratitude for this time together. Thank you for your platform and how you touch us all.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's nice. We just sit here and do our own thing, really, and people get quite excited about
Jenny
it.
says, good night from Ireland. Great show.
Thank you, Jenny. Night, night from France.
Oh. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Good night from Amsterdam.
Oh, yes. We've
All
got Dutch friends, haven't we?
Jane, this colour looks amazing on you.
Oh, thank you. Looks better on me than you, Craig.
Yeah, they haven't said about me. They haven't said that khaki colour looks good on you, Craig. You look like you should be in the trenches.
Who's the painting? It's Craig's auntie.
And nobody in
But
particular.
if you really, really look up, she's got a tattoo here and tattoos
just look very
there.
carefully at the face and you'll be able to tell. Can you give my spirit guru Daniel Harrison a shout out, please? Sadly, he's asleep right now, but would love to be here.
Well, there you
hi,
are,
Daniel Harrison.
Get going.
Hi, guru of the inner world, of the sleepy world. Any quick raw predictions for you, Gay? Kate and Williams tour and Charles and Camilla in Ireland next weekend. Kate and Williams tours off, isn't it? In the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I mean, they decided to back out because they were getting a lot of protests.
Oh.
So it don't look like that one's going to go ahead. And probably Charles and Camilla in Ireland. I don't think that'll go down too well at the moment either, actually. Thank you very much for being there for so many. I always think, go within and go without. That's right.
No, go within.
Or go without. That's
Peace
right. Go within or go
with
without. You know, I mean, that's quite
it.
true. Peace is within us if we look for it.
Yes.
Because peace is the background of our consciousness, the canvas that we're written on, isn't it? Peace.
How's your canvas doing?
My canvas is blank. Yeah. And I think we're coming to the end now, guys. So really nice that you all joined us again. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for all your positive comments. And thanks to Domenico for deleting all the negative comments.
And I think it's time to go now,
and we'll
Craig.
see you soon. And there we go. There goes the church. We're going to say good night to you all now, folks. So it's going to be bye for now then.
Yeah,
see you
and we
soon.
love you all.
Love
Bye.
you all. Bye.
Bye.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.